Wait a second, this isn't a guitar video. What the Calm down, calm down. Bass is actually cool. Sean the bassist forced me to say that. Nah, I'm just kidding, bass is awesome, which is why I thought I'd show you guys how I set up my bass tones using only free VSTs and stock plugins. If you don't know me, my name is Will and I play guitar in the UK thrash metal band Riptide, and I also study at Leeds College of Music doing a degree in music production, and I've also got an extended diploma in popular music as well. All my social media links are down in the description, and before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for future updates on all my videos. Anyway, back onto the topic of bass. So a lot of my friends have asked me how I got this chunky as fuck bass tone. And I always reply with this. Bass, interface, TSE BOD, stock compression, stock EQ, and that's pretty much it. These days you can easily get by using free software while still achieving amazing results at the same time. For this video I'm going to be using Ableton, but if you don't have Ableton, any DAW that supports VST plugins will work just fine. I might make a video on how to do this in Pro Tools just using stock plugins in the future, so Pro Tool users, let me know in the comments if you want to see that. The third party plugin that we are going to be using, which is the TSE BOD or BOD, whatever you want to call it, I think it does come in an AAX format, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work on Pro Tools on my computer, so for the purposes of this video we're just going to be using Ableton. Anyway, let's get into it. So what I'm personally looking for on a bass tone is that nice gritty rumbling distortion, but without any of that horrible fizz that sometimes is present in bedroom mixes. A lot of people use a technique where they have two tracks, one with loads of bass dialed in and no treble, and then the other one really fizzy, horrible and nasty sounding. I think it was actually Colin Richardson who came up with this idea. He's one of my favourite producers in metal, but that was done a long time ago and everyone's doing it now because they've just seen it on forums. So as I said earlier, this technique is kind of in the same realm as how other people are doing it, but the execution is different and I think it's more listenable. So firstly, let's get a good level into the interface. So we'll just start by plucking the string and getting it to a nice level. So basically what I've done there is I've got it on Ableton to hit the 0 on the visual representation of the level, and then I just bring it down a bit to 11 o'clock so I get about 6 dB of headroom. Actually that's 12 dB of headroom, and that just gives us enough headroom so we avoid clipping, and it's just a nice level, not too quiet but not too loud. Right, so my level's good, and I've got a new project loaded up here of a song of my own called A New Breed. A bit different to the usual thrash stuff that I do, it's more hardcore in nature. And I'll find the breakdown, because it's got a dirty breakdown. But I'll just show you the soloed bass, and we'll take all the effects off first. So that's actually quite quiet when I recorded it. If you just look here at the actual waveforms, you can see the huge difference in dynamics, and that just shows that I didn't play it very well. So we put the BOD on, and it sounds like crap. We'll put one on with the default settings on and we'll go from there. So what I do is I'll start off, I'll just loop this section. And I also put quality on high. I've got quite a decent computer, it's not going to ruin it. And what I found with this low knob is that it only really starts making great effect at about here. I usually have that nearly all the way, and then the highs about there, just to bring that kind of crispiness up, and then the presence as well, stick about there. So already that's quite a decent sound. And then the blend knob is basically a mix knob, and what that does is that that will mix the sound of the raw bass with the processed bass. So I have that about here, so I'll delete that. I don't know what the driver's doing. I don't know what it's different on the other. Anyway, that's how it is on this mix. Then we have to go to the compressor, and this just tidies stuff up a bit. If you see on the waveforms, as I said, it's all over the place. Having that on just gives a tiny bit of gain reduction just to get those peaks and to level it out a bit. And I have the attack at 2 milliseconds, which just lets the pick attack get through because this is played with the pick. And then the release 50 because I don't really want it to clamp down on it too much at the end of transients. And then just like a 3-to-1 ratio, pretty much. And then we go to the gate, which is a replugged gate. So what the gate does is when the bassist is recording, it just gets rid of nasty noise. I usually do strip silence every track. So that means going up to transients, making sure you're getting the whole transient. I'll just zoom in and show you. You can see there, just starts around about there. Then I just cut all of that and then consolidate the tracks. So the gate is really useful when tracking, but it's not really needed when playing back. Okay. So let's get on to the next and final part, which is EQ. And this bit kind of replaces a speaker cabinet, so you could use impulse responses if you wanted, but I like using this instead because it's a bit more grindy. So we're going to boost the bass a lot, and we're going to cut a lot of mids, and then we're going to do some more precise EQing in the highs. So this is what I've got, and I'll show you it without. You might be thinking, that looks absolutely ridiculous. Don't use your eyes when EQing stuff. Use your ears, because it is scary to do huge boosts and cuts a lot of the time. I did this, and I thought it sounded good. I'll show you what things are doing here. I just boosted that, and then it's starting to cut at 40 Hz, which are the sub-frequencies anyway. We don't want it to be too out of hand. Then we kind of cut the low mids a bit, and then what we have here is a boost at about 2.4 kilohertz, 2.45 to be precise, and it's quite a sizable boost, 9 dB. And then we just use the cut to get that grindiness out of the bass. And I'll show you what I do is I'll boost it fully, search around for the frequency that I want to boost, and then I'll reduce it a bit. So So I'll just show you what that sounds like in the mix. Can you hear that grindiness? If I take this out, this exact boost, we'll hear a difference. Massive difference. And then on here we have a really big low mid cut, and I'll show you what that sounds like without. Like, that would be ridiculously loud in a mix. With those vocals, it's just overpowering. Now earlier, if you have a good memory, I said that we could use cabsims as well. There is a noticeable difference in my opinion, but I want to know what you guys think, so let's try it out. So I'm just going to delete that EQ and get some cabsims. So I still use NAD-IR. I just really like this software, I think it's good. Right, I've got a Hartkey 4x10. Let's go with the Zilla. Personally, when recording actual bass, I go for a D112 and an RE20. That works well, or an SM7. That works really nicely. Audix, D6 is nice as well. MD421 also, but we'll go with this one. we can experiment. That sounds quite nice. A bit too dark for my liking. That would cut through. I actually prefer that for this. This kind of hardcore style really works nice with that, actually. I prefer that. I would use this. Yeah, if it was like gent stuff, I'd go for the EQing method. But that sounds really nice. So there we go, that's usually how I set up my bass tone when I can't be asked to mic up an amp. However, if you are an aspiring producer like me and want to learn more about production, I found that miking things up and just testing sounds out and experimenting is really worthwhile, because you always get a unique tone that way, because there's so many more variables when it comes to miking something up, such as the sound of the room, the mics that you're using, the speakers that you're using, the size of the cab, the amp, the bass and everything. So when you're just plugging in something direct, there's a lot less that can change. You can still get a wide array of tones, but since it is a software amp, it's only going to produce certain sounds. However, saying that, I do think this is a great technique to use for demos especially, and if you can get a good tone on stuff and you're a really good mixer, which to be honest I'm not the best mixer about, it is great for recording on full productions as well, especially if you want to save time and if you don't have the space or resources to record a bass amp. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you like the sound. Did you prefer the cab sims to the EQ'd approach? Which one do you think would work better for you? I will be making another video soon on how to create metal tones using some pricey gear, so if you're into that, then definitely remember to hit that notification bell to get the future updates. I thought I'd just weave that in there. If you did find this useful, make sure to leave a big thumbs up and comment what you found good about this video, what you liked about it, and equally if you didn't like it, leave a thumbs down and tell me how to improve, because I'm always looking for feedback to improve my videos. And finally, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a future video. My name is Will, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.